I worked in a farm for almost 1 year. But during that year, I put together 12 men. I created a group. I was only 22 years old. I don't know why. Maybe I had more imagination than the others. I created a group of 12 men. And there was also the priest. It was a very small village. But there was a priest, and the priest was lodging. He had an apartment in what was the school. And the school was only one big room. That was it. So he was also the third man, the 30th man in my group. And we were meeting with the priest, we were meeting almost every night to play bridge. Because even if you wanted to do something, you had no way to do something. So we were expecting the unexpected to be able to start to fight. The unexpected happened. It was a British mission. And through that priest, those priests, they knew everything, they had the ear, the ladies. We learned that there was that British mission. And I get in touch with them. And I went, they were in a big property. In the middle of the woods, they were a nice big property, with guardian house, the big house that we call a castle. It was not a castle, but a big house, and dependency. And a nice way to go all over like that, which was about half a mile. So I went, they say, go to the guard house, to the house of the guard, and there they will be. And effectively, on the second floor, I found 3 people, a woman and 2 men. The woman, Pearl, was the chief of the mission. And she had an adjoint, and she had a radio man. And the radio man, I say I don't believe it. It's a Popeye. He was exactly looking like Popeye. I said that's Popeye. But the radio man was the most important. 2 people were the most important. The boss, of course, and the radio. Because if you were losing the radio, you were losing the contact with London, and it was over. And to re-establish the contact, it was almost impossible. So I get in touch with them. And they say, okay, we discuss, blah, 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 blah. So they say, okay, I say you are the British mission, and we ask you to provide us with everything we need. And they did that. And we had 2 ways. We pick up a field for parachutage. Is that a word in English? Parachutage. Parachutage. We pick up 1. And we say we will have parachutage on that place. And the parachutage, it was very simple. No, that was radio, and they were telling you, sometimes through Radio Londres, when Radio Londres was saying, the carrots are cooked mean that you had to have, that night, a plane coming to provide you with the material. So at night, it was 3 lights, 3 fires, or 3 lights like that, about, let's say, 50 feet from each other, and one with a light to make a signal to make 1 later in Morse. You were B, so you had to then B. So the plane was coming, recognizing, making a round, and passing over, and dropping the whole thing. So we had, like that, we had armaments. We camouflaged the armaments at that time. We did nothing with the armaments. We had 2 parachutages like that. Means that we have a lot. We have a lot. So we had the Sten machine gun. The Sten machine gun is a piece of junk. It was made by anybody who was working on something hard in England was manufacturing a Sten. A Sten was some kind of a gun with, you could put that on your shoulder, and then you had that, you know that, with 32 bullets. Now, if you were putting 32 bullets, it didn't work. You were sure that it did not work. So you always had to put only 30 bullets into it. And that machine, if I wanted to kill you, if I shoot at you like that, forget it, you will never be dead. The machine will whoop, like that. So if I want to kill you, I have to start here and go like that, and I kill you. So it was absolutely useless. So after that, we had a small carbine, the M1, about that size, which was very, very nice and very efficient. We had also some, it was not machine gun, but it was big, guns with automatic guns, let's say automatic guns, and once in a while, a bazooka. We inherited one bazooka, and the bazooka, same thing. You are going to destroy the tank, don't worry, the bullet goes through, except they forget to tell you that if it goes a little more than 50 meters, it goes just like that, instead of going the tank, it goes just like that. But anyway, so D-Day. So we learned radio. I learned the D-Day before the landing. They sent us, the carottes are cooked. Carottes are cooked with meaning that it was the D-Day. So at the D-Day, I was able, Pearl told me, you come with us, you establish your men in that little dependencies of that property here, and we work together. I was only 22 years old, and no experience at all, absolutely no experience. I was out of nothing, of college, if you want. And so I had to invent everything, and I made some mistakes, and I'm sure of that. So I established my men, my 12 men, in that domain. 1 week later, we were 100. As soon as the landing has been known, all those we were camouflaged in some farmer, they just came in. There are two big problems. One big problem was the armaments, because nobody knew how to even clean up the armament, that it can work. And the number one awful thing was to feed. How do you feed 100 people when you have nothing to feed them? So it was a big. I did receive, believe it or not, from an historian, something like 3 months ago, copy of a receipt that I gave, that I had made a hold up on the post office on the 10th of June, the 10th of June, I make 30,000 francs that I want. Of course, it was all prepared in advance. I didn't make a real hold up, I forget it. That means that I needed money to feed those 100 people. Come on, how do you feed 100 people with nothing? So that was one thing. The second thing was the armaments. How do they work? So how do they work? How can you clean them, number one? And with what? Okay, so that's it. So finally, that was the 10th of June. The 11th of June, we were attacked by the Germans. Big attack by the Germans. I had my 100 people over there. I have two friends my age. One, my right arm was Mark, my left arm was Eugene. So I tell Mark, who was a guy from the area, I say, I need a car, otherwise we will never be able to feed all those people. So I had a car. I had a Citroën, the Citroën traction avant, the usual Citroën. So when we heard that the German was over there, I say, let's go, take the car, and we go and see what happens. We take the car, we go up like that, and all of a sudden, sometimes you have some inspiration. I say left, and Mark, who was driving the car, he went between the trees. We didn't go very far between the trees with the car. Huh? So I say, up, let's get out. I opened the door. I had not opened the door, that I had, BRRM! The German was rushing out, was firing at me. So we disappear in the woods. And we find, out of my 100 men, I found out 50 men. All the others have disappeared, I don't know where. 4 of them have been taken by the Germans, only 4 of them. So it was a total disarray, my dear. So for several days we were totally, completely lost. And I say I must get back to the British mission and know what we have to do. So I took all my 50 men, and we came back in the woods, close to where was our camp before. And I said, we must wait, and they will get in touch with us. And effectively, they got in touch with us. But Pearl told me, Michele, you are not anymore with your men, you are now part of the British mission. I need you. I need you because I cannot travel all around on the roads, because if they take me, the British mission disappear. So I said, she said, I am going to make you officially recognized by the British Army as a British soldier, sub-lieutenant, you know, whatever. So, but you are going to be recognized officially as, no, there is one condition, you never go to fight with your men, never. You are out of fighting because you are much more important now than fighting against the Germans. And in fact, there was no telephone, no nothing at all, don't forget that, no telephone, no nothing that was running, no automobile, no nothing running. So, but I managed to get in touch with 4 groups. My ex-group, a very big group, which was already 600 men over there, another one which was a communist group, and my friend Mark, and another group here, which was close to the north-south, east-west railroad in France. So it was very close from that. So between this one and this one, there was about something like, let's say, 50 miles, almost between 40 and 50 miles. And Pearl told me, from now on, you are the one who are going to visit all those groups to know what they need to organize the whole thing. So I said, how do I do that? Bicycling? Come on, 50 miles. Come on. So I took a traction avant, another one. You know, we could fight traction avant. It was dead. So I start to drive all the way through the Germans. I mean, I made some convoy, a German convoy of trucks. I said like that because they believe that with that car you are the Gestapo. So you do like that, you know, and they let you pass. And that did happen like that, exactly like that. Now I have there was some dramatic things and some funny things. There was some dramatic things. Before we were attacked by the German, I saw 3 people coming there was a gate at the beginning of that alley. I see 3 people coming, a man, a woman, and a young man. The young man was 18 years old. And his mother told me, listen, sir, there is no way to keep him, he wants to go with you. So here we are, take our son, and please, watch over him, please. I said, okay. And I direct him with somebody to go, you know, to the main dependencies. And the main dependencies, when they were having lunch, there were bunches, concrete bunches, all over like that, all over the place like that. So it was lunchtime, so he went to sit next to another guy who had his lunch, and he had a stem on his shoulder, one of those stem machine guns. And the stem machine gun, I don't know what he did, drop like that on the bench, on the concrete bench. And dropping on the concrete bench, it went off. Boom! And it went off in the body of that poor kid. So that was the first time that I saw death, in fact, and the brutal death. And plus those parents would tell me, watch over him, we bring him because he wants to be with you. So at night, we carry his body back to, I knew where he was. The mother gave me her address. We went to her address, and she was there, and she received her visit. She was a fantastic woman. And she said, God gave, God took. And she said, go away before I wake up my husband. It was, that type of thing. Now there are things which were sometimes more fun than that. Once Pearl told me, listen, we have 3 Americans, airmen, in a farm. It was 40 kilometers away, let's say 30 miles away. you have to go and recuperate them. Because Vierzon, I should have given you the map here. Vierzon, that was the last, that's one of the last points where you have a railroad station that could go to Germany. The Allied were in Normandy, they were landing in Provence, so all the Germans were trying to go through. And going through, there was only one big railroad station, Vierzon, which was only a few miles away of my groups. And she said, and Vierzon was bombed several times by British, but with accompaniment of fighters, of American fighters. And she said, go, you have to go and pick up those 3 men in a farm and bring them to me. Yeah, the map is, you see, there are 2 crosses on the map. The cross on the left is me. The cross on the left is me. The one on the right is the railroad station. It looks like that strong, but it's almost 50 miles, 45 miles or something like that between the 2 points. So one morning she said, you go, but you will stop at, there is one place in the middle of your way where you can stop, you pass the night, the next morning you go and pick up she knew everything, you know, and pick up the Americans. It was the nicest place, you were out of the war. There is a big wall and a nice house in the middle, and the owner of that house has a farm, so you could eat everything you wanted, even if the German, you know, the German through the French were recuperating most of the production of the farms, but the farms always put some, you know, like that on the side. So I stopped there, it was a wonderful evening. The next morning I go to pick up my 3 Americans. I find them in the farm, effectively. And they come out of the farm, you know, they open their eyes in the sun. And you know, sometimes you have inspiration. And I say, guys, they were not anymore with their uniforms. They were dressed like peasants of the corner. And I told the peasant, you know, now they are not anymore war prisoners. They are spies. So it's worse for them if they are caught, you know. Anyway, so inspiration comes. I say, I'm going to teach you 2 words. Oui, yes, oui. No, no. And I make them repeat that until they say it correctly. I say, because if for one reason or another one, you had some people listening to us, I will tell the story, and you agree or disagree, you say, oui, oui, no, no, no. Perfect. So we take the road, and when I was going to pick them up, there was a road, and the side of the road there was a little cafe, a small house cafe. I said, when we are back, and it was in August, so it was relatively warm. I said, when we are back, if we are thirsty, we can stop them and have a little something to drink and go about. So I picked my 3 Americans, teach them how to say yes and no, and we arrived at the cafe. And we watched to see if there was anything, you know, suspect on the cafe. Nothing, no car, nobody. I said, hey, let's have a drink. It's very hot. And after that, we finished. We go to that place where you were expected. You know, the same little nice house where we were expected. So I said, let's go in the cafe. I opened the door of the cafe, followed by my 3 Americans, and the cafe was full of Germans. So what do you do when it's like that? If you just run away, they say, you have 50 men to run after you with their guns. So we came in. The luck was that the only available table was the table next to the door. So we didn't have to go through, with my guys, I didn't have to go through the whole place. So we sit, you know, like that. I get a bottle of wine, and I talk about my cows and this and that. And so what this one was saying no, and this one was saying yes. You know. So we drank very nicely a bottle of wine, and when it was finished, we exited very nicely, still talking. The German never had the least idea that it was 3 American men. So you know that's one of the I should say funny parts of the story. Not too dramatic. There was one which was at the same time, I can tell you that because that will give you the, you know, the resistance was guys who were decided to put the German away. So my 4 groups, in fact I had 4 groups, and they were on the passing, the most passing of the German coming back from all the Atlantic coast. And they were passing there because it was, the roads were good, and they were direct to the station, to the railroad station where they could put, you know, all their material back to Germany. So it was a permanent passage of German. So the group, the main group, my 60, we, by the way, they became 900 at the end. The 600 were permanently on the road attacking. Every time that was a passing convoy, they were attacking it. Every time. So sometimes it was just, and they were retreating because we were not supposed to make fight, you know, permanent fight. You fight them, you kill, you destroy what you can destroy, and you retreat. You go back in the woods. And the Germans never wanted to go in the woods, precisely because they say behind every tree there will be somebody to shoot at you. So, but it was a permanent fight everywhere. So one night again, Pearl told me, you have to tell this group here to come with the main group, because the main group where the main passage of German was. And you know the German, it was very strange. Some German were very like that. And some Germans, I saw 5 German officers in a convertible Renault, which at the time was the biggest car, convertible, white car, red leather inside, with a big gasogene, you know, the gas from the wood. So they had that furnace on the trunk, and they were running with no tires. There was no tires. So, you know, they were really, I saw incredible thing. 50 bicycles. They had not have tires. They had a piece of rag around the wheels to go on, you know. And beside that, you had some very crazy Nazi. No way, huh? They were going up to the end of it. The Germans, they had 3 ways to try to figure out where there was the resistance. One was they knew that there was the radio. So they were doing something called triangulation. You know, the 3 cars like that to determine if there was a radio in the middle. That was one of their ways. Now, one of the very disagreeable things, if I can say so, is that some French people were really collaborating with the Germans. And some French people, you had French people who were giving to the information, even men to the German. One time, I went in that big maquis. Maquis, you know, maquis is a word, I am a maquisard. Maquis is a word which comes from Corsica, because in the middle of Corsica, you have the maquis with bushes so thick that if you have the police just in your back, you go down and they can never find you. So they give that name to the groups, the maquisards. We were the maquisards. So I don't even remember where I'm talking now. Anyway, yeah, I was thinking that the Germans had triangulation. They had people who were informating them. There were information from French people. And once more, I was at that big group, and the chief of the group, he was a very tough man. He said, come with me and see what I'm going to see. On the back of one of these buildings, there was a farm in the middle of the forest. And in the back of one of these buildings, there was a little space with fence. And there were 7 men into it. And said, you see, naked. And said, you see that one? He's a jeweler. Radio Londres gave him, notice him, for the French resistance, to get him, because he is responsible at least for those 7 people. So he was there, they took a commando, one night, and they picked him up. So he was all naked, yeah, with 6 others. And the prince, was his name, the chief, said, hey, we are going to shoot them, and they know it, but we don't tell them when. So they were waiting for their death, naked in that little fence. That's to tell you it would go. And the German, beside that, the German also infiltrated as much as they could, you know, the groups, and I'm going to tell you a terrible story, but I will tell you to you. You know, you're the very first group. I never say one word about all that for something like 65 or 70 years. You know how old I am. If you don't know how old I am, I don't say that to the ladies, just for the men, not the ladies. Ladies don't know. When they ask today, give your address, your birth, you know, birth to pharmacy or whatever, give your birth to them, because we're sure that you are you. I say to the ladies, the day, the month, but not the year. Because men, the year was 22. So imagine that I'm only 95 today. In a few days I am 96. So, I didn't make it in purpose. Thank you anyway. So, I should say that for 65 years or 70 years, I never say one word about what I'm talking to you today. You are the first group to whom I am talking about the resistance. But at the same time, at my age, I say I am one of the last one of that story. You know, I was 22 years old. I created that group because all my men, except Mark and Eugene, we were my age, all the other people, they were 30, 40, 50, you know, 50 was a maximum of 55, something like that. But you know, if you were 55 in 22, they are not here to talk about the resistance, and I'm still here to talk about the resistance, and it's something that very few people know, and even the young people, they don't even know that World War II took place. So, some people, they don't know, they don't even know that. So how can they know about the resistance? But people, you know, you are of an age, respective age, that I can tell you that. So I'm going to tell you a terrible story. No, one first story first beside that, not too terrible. One day Pearl tell me, you go to give this group order, the commandant, called the commandant, to go and join the big group, because that's where the most Germans are passing by, and they will help, you know, they will be even stronger. And I said, okay, I will go next night. So, and Pearl gave me a young man with me. She said, he will be your secretary. You maybe need a secretary. Because I was in charge, I was in charge of the money. Pearl give me, you are in charge of the money. And the money was, hey, come on, coming from the sky, a box of money. I always thought that it was fake money. You know? It was impossible that the French have all that money over there to send it to you. I said, that's not possible. So it, who cares? Everybody took it. No problem. So Pearl said me, you go and tell Vanier, it was his name, to join Prince, to move with all those men and everything. I said, okay, I go tomorrow. And that night, I arrived where that little village, it was a small, no, it was no more than a village. And the car arrived, and the road was going like that, and the village was there. And it was only one big road that was the main street of the village. Then there was a piazza, a short street, another short street, and a big railroad north-south France, a big railroad. And the railroad, all the catenars, you know, to support the electric, had been put down by us, because among the things, I forgot to tell you one thing, it's among the things, beside the bazookas, we were receiving some kind of a gray clay. And that gray clay, in the beginning we said, what's that? And it was plastic. And the plastic, you can, like that, you can put, for example, the plastic around the tree, you know, like that, and you put a detonator, and the detonator, not only that, can be timed. So at 10:30, boom, the whole thing absolutely cut the tree or cut the whatever it is, the pole, whatever it is. So we have put all those guys, they have put all the catenars supporting the electric line down. So no train could pass by because it was only electrical. So I said, okay. So I arrive here, and when I'm here, I saw something burning in the middle of the village. And I knew the village. And I said, that is the house of the commanding of the group, of the commander of the group. And my guy, that my secretary supposedly said, we are not going to go over there, huh? I hope so. I said, ah, ha, ha, ha. So I put the car, you know, no engine, just let it go down like that, slowly. Open window to know if something. I arrived at the piazza, nothing. So I come out of the car. I was not out of the car. Machine gun. Again. I say again. Every time I come out of a car, they shoot at me. So you know. So I say my helper. Say, hey, let's get out of here because we hear a tank. We heard a tank moving. I say, what I do with this tank here? So we take the main street and pushing all the doors and all the windows. Nothing was opening. Nothing. Finally, one window opened. You know, when you are like that, the adrenaline, huh? It's called the adrenaline, huh? It boils into you. I took my helper, I really took him by here, and I threw him through the window, absolutely threw him through the window. I don't know where I took the strength to put a big guy through the window, but I did, and I jumped after him, and I closed the window. Of course I closed the window. And we were in a pharmacy. There was a pharmacy, but it was, you know, a nice little town, so there was a big apartment with the pharmacy. And in the big apartment, the table was set up. You know, it was at night. They had set the table, the plates and everything, the bread and everything. And in the kitchen, there was a big pan with the eggs, the butter, to make an omelette. And there was a very nice bottle of wine open in the mirror. So I said, okay, I'm going to make the omelette. And my friend, he said, oh, no, you're not going to do that. Are you crazy? An omelette? The tank is in the street. I say, hey, listen, if they get us, better with a full stomach than an empty stomach. Besides that, how can they find us? Right. So I make an omelette, and when I make the omelette, he finally touched my omelette. He finally ate the omelette with me. We stayed in that house until we heard some French people talking in the street. Then I went out, and I went straight to the house that was burning. And the house that was burning, it was a beautiful house, in fact, with grand piano, with some impressionist paintings which were really valuable. The whole thing burned, and only that house,